Hi, everyone, and welcome to our live today with Kellie Whitehead. Thank you so much for joining us, Kellie, today.
You're so welcome. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
We wanted to just have a little chat with you because obviously at Furless Beauty Institute, we're a new business. And I've seen all the great things that you and Jen and Kat are doing with the Female Fusion Network, which is or was a free Facebook group, which has been going, I think, for about 5 years now. Is that right?
It's 6, actually. I always have to check every year. I think, I'm sure it's a birthday soon. And now it's in the brain. I have to look at the date up as well. May. It was May 6 years ago.
May, that's great. And so Furless Beauty Institute, we are a beauty institute. So it's a training academy for beauty enthusiasts. So people who are, haven't got any prerequisites, haven't got any qualifications, but want a change in career, or they want, to have a side business. And then also therapists that are already qualified that want to kind of further their career as well. So, we've been going for a couple of months now, so it's still new, we're still getting started. And we wanted to create a community kind of like yourself with Female Fusion, but more kind of in the beauty field. And the beauty industry is one of the biggest industries that puts women into business as well, which is fantastic. So obviously we're going to be offering qualifications, internationally recognized qualifications, to really further people's careers and give them more credibility within the industry. But then also we're going to have shorter courses because people who are already working full time, they may want to do this on the side. And, realistically, if you've got a full-time job, it's quite difficult and, with kids and things like that. So shorter specialized courses as well as the full-time beauty diplomas to give really, a diverse set of qualifications that anybody can obtain, really. So we're super excited about it. But I just wanted to, talk to you about, you set up Female Fusion Network 6 years ago. So when you initially set that up, did you have any barriers, any issues with that, any kind of problems along the way?
No, because it was as simple as setting up a free Facebook group that any of us can do in literally 30, 50 seconds right now. So that's what I mean about, like, I can't just say, how long did it take you to decide? When did it? Didn't. It didn't. I can't remember a cover photo or anything like that. It started purely because I needed a water cooler that I didn't have because I was working cross country. I was in the UK, but servicing Dubai clients, working from a home office, always flexible, worked for 15 years. So, pre it becoming a thing, working from home, and it's lonely, but, even if you're out there with an office and staff, if you're in charge, and if that's as a solopreneur, if that's somebody just starting up or a freelancer, you're the boss of your own work life, for want of a better phrase, or you've got 50 stores and 100 staff or anything like that. It's lonely. And we hear that constantly, and that part's never changed. So I was looking for the equivalent of a water cooler online, basically, to be able to talk to other women in the same kettle of fish, and it really it took off exponentially straight away. I'm a marketeer and a digital marketer by trade, but vanity metrics are not a thing. But obviously you need a few people around to be able to make it an engaged community, and that was never about the numbers, but that just took off from day dot, really, and became like it, sharing and support. But there's a lot of direct questions as well. It's a bit googly, really, for like, where can I find specific things, and usually business licensing questions, couriers, packaging. And a lot of Instagram questions as well at the moment. They seem to be the top four, the top four questions. But for challenges, no. The biggest challenge would be, I guess, 18 months ago, 2 years actually, when a business partner came on board, the lovely Janine Plum, and we turned Female Fusion Network into a licensed business together, and that was literally 2 years ago around now, and we kicked off in the September with a lot of offline paid to attend events, face to face. Everybody in Dubai likes a bit of face to face, and it's healthy. It's good. Obviously, people want to meet each other in real life, and then leading us through to COVID, which is obviously 18 months ago when things drastically changed, and Janine relocated throughout all of that as well, leaving me with the need for another business partner, and the universe sent me the lovely Jen Blandos. So challenges only in the sense of it getting bigger, better, changing, morphing into an established licensed business, making people aware that we were a business now, and they were, at the end of the day, if you pay, you pay attention, and from Janine through to Jen, we've got families to feed, we've got, we can't, it's a job, it's a job, and it's a business, and we're so committed to the mission and vision, which is basically supporting you at every stage of your journey, whoever you are. There's no question too small, there's no business too big. We really are there for that. So we've created a movement and a monolith of a thing, and we're now at 16,000 members of that original free Facebook group, and now we have a premium paid membership as well, known as the Network by Female Fusion, that people pay a rolling monthly subscription to, or join for a year in advance. Very typical to other kind of business networks, but not typical in the kind of what we provide and the community that we've created around that as well. So challenges, it's been a ride, and we're working really, really hard. I can't say that anything stuck massively in our way. We're very typical, again, a business like everybody else's. We have, we have a licensing renewal coming up soon that's going to cost us more money than I've ever thought it would, and these are very real challenges that our members are facing as well. We've got to go and find the money for that, just like everybody else has, and consider what the correct license is. We're blazing a trail with regards to the kind of license that we can get, because it's not that simple, because we're a hybrid business. We're online, but obviously also offer the traditional face-to-face type events as well. We bring in experts from abroad as well as locally. We work with brands and sponsorships now as well. We've got some really exciting stuff coming up for Expo. So the biggest challenge is probably resources now. There's so much that we want to do, so much that we can do, and just the 2.5 of us, as it were, with Jennifer and myself and the lovely Kat Smith, who's our community manager. So we're growing. It's happening. It's brilliant. It's just exactly the same as yourself and Karen and Mariella kicking off the Beauty Institute, and exactly what we've been saying offline as well. The challenges that come with that, the challenges that just generally come with running a business. But if you love what you do, you don't do a day's work and all of that, she says. I don't feel like that some days, but the absolute original mission, vision. I've always worked with women mainly in my work, and families and children, and kind of segued into that women in business sphere, and it's a passion with a purpose. Yes, we're a business, and yes, we will grow. We will hope to have some kind of foundation in the future. We will be putting a lot back into that business, which will only serve to impact more people in different ways. So we want to hit women who are looking for jobs. We don't really cover that right now. We're sticking to the business element of it. There's so many women and money. There's just there's so much to do. It's so necessary. So the challenge is to grow, to be able to create the rest of that impact as well, and go beyond the UAE. So that's that. Yeah, challenges, yes, but it's I cannot complain.
That's great. And it's funny you were mentioning about licensing then, and I know we were talking about that before, because it's the same, with beauty business owners. So I know the regulations change quite a lot in the UAE, maybe compared to like in the UK. When I got my beauty therapy qualification 20 odd years ago, I could just go out and get a job. But here it's a little bit different. So you can go out and get a job, but now the Dubai Health Authority, they are pushing more towards beauty businesses having that DHA license. So that's one thing that we want to do with our learners, is we want to help them obtain that DHA license. So to obtain the DHA license, you need to have a beauty therapy qualification, like an internationally recognized qualification. And that's just the beginning. There's so many more things that you have to do to obtain that license. So we want to be able to guide our students and help them to get it, because I'm going through it at the minute, and I know Karen and Mariella are going through it, and it's been months now. Because you have to upload all your documents, you have to do an oral exam. So, you know, they ask you questions on different topics within the industry as well. So it can take quite a few months to get that license. So, you know, things are different in different countries. So the qualifications that we will offer, they are recognised in many countries, so internationally, which is great. So once you have that qualification, you can use it anywhere in the world, which is fantastic.
It is, isn't it? Because, well, I have a thing that if you can do it in Dubai, you can do it anywhere. And that, you know, that actually, you know, talking those days when it is feels a bit more challenging, and you're genuinely thinking, why am I doing this? You think if you can crack that market, if you can do it in the UAE, technically you should be able to do it anywhere. It's a very unique market. But those challenges and those extra skill sets and patience that we all have to acquire when it comes to the red tape. And it's so important. It's so important doing. I mean, I always say this. It is more difficult to set up, and like you say, I'm English British, sat in the UK now, and you know, yeah, you go to college and you get. I'm not in any shape or form, but your level 3s and all of that, and you know, you can set up. And it's been amazing to see the flexibility, the beauty industry, the flexibility that it offers to women who may or may not have kids or care and responsibilities, etc., or young people. The amount of 21-year-olds around here smashing their own little, you know, mobile or little salon business is just phenomenal. Certainly, you know, I'm not sat in the West End of London. These are people going out there to earn the money, to build a business up, to, you know, seeing them do amazing things. So I'm really, really grateful for that as an industry, especially at the moment as well, when people need more flexibility. By the same token, it was obviously massively affected, and women were more negatively affected by COVID globally, full stop, because of the nature of the work that the lockdown occurred in. So things like hospitality, anything that's got a lot of kind of that more flexible or part-time workers. So people who worked in hospitality, generally women, shop assistants, women, the beauty industry and hair, women. So it's a shame that it's not as easy. It's just another kind of UAE challenge that I think we have to do. But the importance of obviously being fully regulated and qualified, I think that's how we've got to see it as well. And the beauty industry alongside the food industry is obviously one of the most difficult to get a foothold in, because of the red tape, and that is what it is, unfortunately, but also sadly the cost. But you know, with qualifications with institutes such as yourselves, nobody can take those away from you. So it's well worth the investment. And I don't know if we were going to touch on this at all, but you know, by just upskilling your staff as well and upskilling yourself, you're putting yourself at a massive advantage in the market. It's a very busy market. You could call it saturated, or you could call it booming, both of those things, I think. But that is of no limitation to the success of you as a solo practitioner, or as a salon institute, call it what you will, owner in the beauty and wellness space, because if anything, you're going to stand out more for having that, and you know, it's something to really shout about and be proud of.
Definitely. And we do want to, you know, help our students to get jobs, you know, once they've gained their qualification. So we will be putting work placements in place and working with established salons. So, you know, they can, the learners, whilst working towards their qualification, they can go and, you know, gain some work experience within a salon or a spa or a clinic. And then that's going to help them get that industry experience once they've gained their qualification to go out. And hopefully, you know, if they have a work placement with a salon, potentially they could then go on to get a job with that salon where they've done the work experience as well.
Of course, it's the ideal ecosystem, isn't it? You know, learning on the job, the training qualifications to be proud of, also that are going to set you up for quality, service, value, which again isn't necessarily down to pricing. And, you know, people want that great experience, and that comes from knowledge, and that comes from knowledge and experience, you know, to be able to pass it on to the customer and set yourself up for a thriving career and or business. You know, I am a big fan of people kind of learning on a job before they kind of dive in and decide decide, you know, we're going to be a salon owner or an agency owner in my line of work. I think there's nothing to take away from that on the job experience. It's so important. And, you know, the theory is one thing, but obviously the practice is something else. So, and there's nowhere better than Dubai, the UAE, for obviously beauty and wellness and grooming in general. We both know that it's booming. It's never going to go away. I know running a business there's no two ways about it. So we have like 16,000 women in the free Facebook group. There's 200 alongside that in the network now, which is only set to grow. And we also do work with UN Women at the moment on an 18-month capacity building program, which is amazing for women in the UAE of all industries, all levels of startup. And there's going to be mentorship and growth accelerators and things like that. So between Jen and I, we are literally talking to women in business at every level of the journey every day. In their, you know, in multitude. Jen's been out all morning, what we call a Coffee Connect meetup, which is a casual networking meetup that we have once a month as a membership benefit. So we know what the challenges are. We know what's out there. You know, we help people through COVID in as much as we can without that magic money tree. Just say, look, we're here. Ask your questions. You know, in a different industry, people went. In a different industry, basically e-commerce in a certain sector, you know, a couple of large websites stopped trading late last year overnight, leaving members with tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dirhams owed, stock owed, etc. And it's a case of, this is kind of how we are now. So there's one thing kind of having a network of people that you turn up once a month, push a business card about, have a cup of tea, nice time, go home. But, you know, if you woke up if you know, things happen overnight, if your salon was closed down overnight, if your staff couldn't get back from where they'd gone on their leave, these are real questions that business leaders kind of, you know, struggle with. And again, it's where do you turn to people in the same boat? And that's why it is a bit 24/7, always on. But I think it has to be. But, you know, nobody out there needs to be going through any of this stuff alone. You know, even if face isn't your thing, even if an online webinar is not your thing, there's something. And, you know, we are absolutely out. It's not about Kelly. It's not about Jen. It never has been. It's about the members and, you know, and the benefits of being stronger together, which is a tagline that we use a lot. And I think, you know, especially, I think your industry's hard. Your industry is really hard. And I'm thrilled to say, you know, Mariella's always worked so hard, and it's wonderful that she's brought on ladies like yourself and Karen, you know, super experienced in the region as well, to kind of to kick this off, because we need to see more quality and we need to see more intention. And again, it's not kind of about pricing. There's a horrible kind of race to the bottom pricing wise in various aspects in Dubai, I think. But, you know, I'm sure your qualifications don't cost pennies, and I say that with love and respect. But, you know, you're paying for that quality, just like you want to go to the best practitioner for your treatments as well. And I think a lot of salon owners as well are kind of in that race to the bottom price wise to be able to attract new customers, but actually possibly need to be looking after the ones they've got a little bit more, and just thinking a bit more strategically about how they manage that aspect of their business from a marketing and a pricing or a packaging point of view. There's so much that can be done. When they kind of think creatively. That doesn't have to cost them money in the long run either. Definitely.
And I think, you know, I've seen many salon businesses here in Dubai and in the UK as well. And this is not saying that everybody, but what I've noticed is the businesses that are owned by therapists who have the knowledge and the education are the ones that do really thrive, because obviously, you know, they understand the business. They, you know, they still do treatments. Some of them, they're business owners, but they still have clients, which is great. And they're very hands-on. They're very much, you know, within that business, within that salon, 24/7, you know, working hard to really build the community, build the business, and build that clientele as well. And I know we were talking last week, you know, there are quite a lot of different Facebook groups, you know, like, for example, the Big Beauty Scoop and Vicky Ashlyn, who, you know, you've got a big community there who are looking for, you know, the quality and the customer service. It's not just about the price. Although, you know, I'll admit myself, I do love a good bargain, but the quality has to be there, and the customer service and the customer journey has to be there as well.
I couldn't agree more with you, Lisa. And yeah, Vicky does an amazing job. Hi, Vicky, if you ever see this.
Yeah, hi, Vicky.
Vicky and them big beauty suits, amazing. And that's the beauty of kind of more niche kind of Facebook communities, and the value. If you're salon owners or business owners out there watching, and your marketing strategies just to attack Instagram 24/7, please think wider, because truthfully, there are these are your customers out there. You can get the feedback, you can get the word of mouth, you can raise awareness, you can work so successfully for your bottom line. It's not about giving freebies away to influencers and stuff like that. But with my professional head on as a marketer, and obviously everything that's gone off in the past 18 months, there's no two ways about it. I talk about this very often, and people who know me will be bored of it, but we are in a bit of a revolution that's not kind of going to go away. But what I always say is we have to meet people where we are now, where they are now, and that's not the end of last year, that's not even January this year. This is summer 2021. Things are different now to they were in February, let alone the past year. But if there's one thing that I know to be true, and that's only kind of going to continue, is this element of experiential value for the customer. There's people will be cutting back, and salons know this. Anybody watching this who's a salon owner will be telling I think when things lockdown eased, everybody expected people to rush back, and I don't think they did. I do think for a fact that people have totally reassessed how they spend. They've totally reassessed how they spend the time. They've recognized what they were not wasting money on, but where they were spending exponentially on things that they could rein it back. Doesn't mean they're not going to spend that money anymore. Not everybody's lost their job. Not everybody. In fact, some people saved because they weren't traveling. Certainly in the UK, you can't find a tradesman for love nor money because everybody's remodeling the homes because nobody's traveling. You can't buy a garden chair. They've been out for 6 months. So and same in the UAE. Not everybody. It's not about that race to the bottom price wise. However, if you are priced appropriately, and you are offering that bit extra, that's what we all buy into. Look, exactly like you say, we all need a quick blow dry sometimes, right? Literally, time is of the essence, or replace a nail or a chipped whatever. That kind of thing, that kind of quick touch up, 100%. And that is a bit like if you can get in somewhere or if you can. But when you're having that, I can only speak for myself, I can certainly speak for Jen. Time is, we don't have the time for a salon day, as it were. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You're putting it in. So if you do have that time, or if you take that time, there's particular hairdressers. By the way, you wouldn't know that I go to a particular hairdresser in Dubai because it's been since last October. So, as you can see, this is lockdown life, ladies. But it's I spend more there than I thought I would when I went to the beautiful salon in Jumeirah, and it was such it's an experience. The staff are lovely, the salon's beautiful, it smells nice. Yes, they upsell me to some shampoo, and it's the best I've used. You know what I mean? It's like, and you don't mind because it's it's totally, and obviously the results are great. Not today, but in general, I'm happy with the service. I trust the people there, but the experience is great. So yes, being a premium, it's not a crazy premium, but it's obviously not the cheapest salon in town. And because I'm not there every week either, it is a treat and an experience, and I deserve it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think we all feel like that. So I think salon owners, rather than that race to the bottom, or how much can I give price wise, how much can I get out of my staff to serve more people, to like a real step back and a look at what you're offering. And even, put some of your prices up. Have a look at your pricing if you can't make it work for you, because you can be busy all week and then sit down and go, I've made nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, you've discounted your prices, your staff are all over the place, or you've, all of that. And then, of course, if you are run off your feet, you're losing on service, surely, because it's all relative, right? And it's not all about giving things away to the customer that cost you something. It's from the loyalty, it's from the experience, it's any kind of extras or packages, that don't necessarily cost you too much in product or somebody's time either. And balancing that up and being original, a bit creative with your marketing as well. It's really important. That is really what people are looking for. There's no two ways about it. You need to be the difference, and it really doesn't have to be by being the cheapest. Not
Exactly.
at all.
Exactly. And that's something else that we are we are doing actually at the minute, is we're looking to help already established salons with staff development, with business development as well. So offering, workshops to maybe the spa managers or the clinic managers or the senior therapists on how to develop their staff, how to incentivize them, how to motivate them to give a better quality to the business. And then also things like customer service workshops, about the customer journey, that starts from the minute the customer or client walks in to the, even after they've left as well.
Well, I would even go as far as to say, Lisa, it doesn't start from when they walk in. It starts from the minute they've picked up the phone or even tried to Google you. That in itself, the other thing, if it's really understanding your customer as well, isn't it? Because if you are a tiny startup salon or a solo practitioner, and we get it all the time on Female Fusion. Look, if me and Jen talk about this often, like, what do people want? Like, really, what do they want? And if we don't know, nobody knows type thing. They want more. They want more clients. They want to sell more. Whatever it is they're doing, whatever product or service they offer, majoritively they want they more, please, which is fine. And then it's sitting down and sensibly thinking about that. So if you're a tiny, but be realistic. If you're the kind of salon or service that is used majoritively by locals, you're not a destination salon that people are going to drive to the other end of Dubai for. You're a local salon serving majoritively people who live in the, somewhere opening early that people can, women can get into before they go to work or after or all that kind of thing. Then work with that, work with what you've got, and you might have huge ambitions, and that's great, but for now, meet people where they are now. So on the back of that could go with, if I was stuck, I stay in a lot of hotels. I don't have a permanent base in Dubai, and wherever I was staying or could be, I'm nearly always like, my biggest thing actually is get somebody to come out at find somewhere open at 6:30, please, if somebody wants to do that, to be kind of ready for an event or something at 8:30 in the morning. And it would be a case of who's closest, and that I would go straight to my phone and I would Google it. So if you're optimizing, it doesn't cost you anything, you can do it yourself, or obviously get somebody to help you. Optimize Google your business, in every aspect that has there. So I can immediately see the closest blow dry to me, the closest nail salon to me, where I am then, opening times, obviously, and online booking, obviously ideal, but there's expense and effort there required. But the ease, don't leave money on the table. You are leaving, if you make it difficult. We say this about every industry, Jen and I. Make it easy. This goes to everybody. Make it easy for people to buy from you. None of this PM me for prices, hun, and all of that. And I know salons don't do that. You've got a price list. It's as old as the hill. You know what I mean? It's not. That's not an industry thing really for beauty and wellness. But make it easy for people to buy from you. Whether that's accepting online payments, whether that's accepting online bookings, but even as simple as good SEO and getting your Google My Business sorted out as well, and don't be leaving money on the table, because it really does. Sorry to hijack that, but it goes from that as well. It goes from that. If you're rude on the phone, if I can't get through to you, if your website's not working properly, or you've got online booking but it's crashing constantly, etc. I'm not coming, my lovelies. I'm going somewhere else. Exactly. And so that experience starts beyond actually walking through the salon. But I couldn't agree with you more. It's so important. It's so important, and a lot of it costs nothing. Exactly. Salon, your interiors. Look, let's face it. The salons and the services that are all over Instagram are the pretty ones. Somewhere everybody wants to take that Insta shot of that background and tag, and you're going to encourage more of that by giving them a simple opportunity to get it, by redecorating one wall and giving. But the experience is everything, and that absolutely usurps price.
Yeah, definitely.
If you do a bad job, or if you or any of those things, heaven forbid a bad job, because I couldn't imagine being a hairdresser who'd just given a bad haircut. That must be the worst thing, to have the wrath of a woman who's had a bad haircut. I feel you. I don't think nobody goes out to do it on purpose, do they?
No.
That hairdresser does not get up that day to give you a bad haircut or a bad manicure or any of those things. And then that's combated by that's a lack of training and education.
Exactly.
So schooling your staff with courses such as what you guys offer, and we're not affiliated, by the way. I'm just a huge champion of education.
No, we're not.
People doing better. No, it's true. We're not. But I think it's wonderful what you're doing, because we try to do that with Female Fusion. The work that Jennifer and I do as consultants with the UN as well, because it's I'm not saying helping you to be better because you need to be a better person, but do better business. It's there for you, and it's not as difficult as you think. You have to be intentional. Not everything's free, by the way. You know, the training courses with Furless aren't going to be free. We charge huge $1 a day to join Female Fusion. What can I say? You know, and it's there for you, because when you pay attention as well, and by giving that commitment, staff want to feel looked after. They want to feel that you're invested in them. Their future and their training, etc. And it's going to come back for you tenfold. It's going to come back for you tenfold, upskilling your staff like that, as well as yourself, in every touch point of your business.
Definitely. And it's funny you say that as well, because I've been teaching, you know, skincare for about nearly 10 years now. And when you do pay for something, you do pay attention more, because, you know, I've taught in the UK in state colleges and in private colleges, and the difference, it's amazing, the difference of people who are paying to be there and want to be there, or people who are just, you know, finished school, didn't know what to do, and think, oh, okay, yeah, beauty therapy sounds easy, I'll just do that.
It had that reputation. I'm an 80s kid, and, you know, although I was at college, you know, doing that in the 90s, and it did have a reputation that, you know, beauty therapy at 16 at the local college was what girls who couldn't do anything else.
Exactly. And it's such a shame to have that stereotype as well.
It's gone now. It's gone now. Luckily, it's as simple as that. But it's completely gone now. I can't, you know, it makes me think about it. But yeah, it's thank goodness, absolutely. It's you know, it's profitable. It's popular. Yes. There is no risk of lack of customers. It's getting it right from a business model point of view as well, isn't it? But obviously, all does come down to the quality of your service. Let's face it. Nobody's going to keep paying you if you're bad at what you do. Exactly. And you do, when, you know, we have this, I bang on about it a lot, but it is relevant to the beauty industry, this, like I say, race to the bottom pricing wise. It's really important that we take, look, nobody needs to be too expensive that nobody wants to come to you. By the same token, there is a different level of business that you could almost name your price, you know, and I'm obviously talking about things like celebrity, I use the term celebrity, but do you know what I mean? The celebrity dermatologists or estheticians or things like that. And, you know, offering a certain service, or that, you know, they're at such a level and so popular, etc. But if you're not, if you're not quite there yet, there is a lot to be said about, you know, there's no point pricing yourself out of the market. There's no, you know, if you're an average salon, etc., having, you know, you are going to leave money on the table because you'll have no customers. So you've got to do that benchmarking, absolutely. But it's not a case of being the cheapest or even the fastest. It's again, I think a lot of it is deciding right at the start what it is you want to be as a business, or a salon or a brand or any of those things. Identifying your ideal paying client, not your ideal client. Everybody's the ideal client of a luxury service because they all would want it, but your ideal paying client, and once that, and a real person as well, not just one of these, oh, well, I think it would be Jane in Jumeirah whose husband works at X, who does yoga, because I use this, and she won't mind me saying this either. You know, Jen, mum, living in the meadows, into fitness, etc. You know, vegan. She hasn't got a minute in the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't stereotype, you know, that kind of archetype of customer where it's like, you know, wandering around looking for things to do. Quite the bloody obvious. You know, my close friend Tash at Tish Tash, who I know everybody knows, certainly in the beauty and wellness industry, you know, blow dries at a desk. Do you know what I mean? However, you all absolutely take time and think about and save up for, and take that day out of a month, maybe some kind of wellness retreat, or a day at the salon or the spa. And really, you know, it's an investment in self that leaves you feeling wonderful. It's an amazing industry, and I love it. And I want everybody to do well. I just really want, from a business owner's point of view, to kind of understand the importance of, like you say, the quality of the experience, the quality of the training, which will make you more money, guys. If any of you are going to watch it, it will make you, the investment will make you more money. Definitely.
I always say knowledge is power. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I know I actually go for more beauty treatments here in the UAE than I ever did when I lived back in the UK. So, you know, it is such a big business here. I mean, it is everywhere, but
it's not crazy. You know, I've been married it's a child bride, not literally. I've been married 20 years, and when I got married 20 years ago, which it feels like about 5, but it is 20 years. So that's the year 2000, Christmas 2000. And I didn't even get my nails done. Like, I painted them myself. Yeah. And when I say that's not because like I could have, but I didn't. I'm trying to, to explain the psyche of the industry in the UK. In that, like, that wasn't necessarily a thing. I always look at my pictures, so I look really pale. And about a year later, everybody was mad into fake tan. So I think, like, I probably would have done that. But at the time, no fake tan, certainly no needs. Well, still not, as you can see. But all of that stuff. But now it's, you wouldn't not do it. You wouldn't kind of, it's taken off. Not so much as British women aren't going every week for that mani-pedi like they do in the UAE, but it's cultural, of course. Look at how well it's cultural going back thousands of years. Arab and Asian women were brought up and raised just like the forebears to look after themselves from a grooming point of view, and us Brits weren't.
No.
So it's changed so dramatically. And it's self-care at the end of the day, isn't it? It's self-care.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about self-care, so beauty, self-care, wellness industry are very kind of intertwined and linked together. So as a business owner, I know we were joking last week and you said you didn't really have much time to take care of yourself. Mental health is a big thing now, and it's a big thing that's being talked about a lot. And and a lot of people are wanting to create awareness about it as well, because it's not talked about enough. So if you think about a business owner, yes, you're busy and you don't really have much time for yourself, but do you think that's important to make time for yourself? Because you need to be okay and functioning.
100%. And I'm really against, I'll say this as publicly as I can. I'm going to say this in one breath, and then in the next one, you'll see me online working at 3 a.m. or something. I'm really against the hustle culture. I completely believe in getting things done and what I call radical responsibility for obviously delivering what you need to do for a client, your community, your business, absolutely, your family, obviously. 100%, but I don't think it's to be being constantly busy, constantly burnt out is anything to be applauded. I don't think it's realistic. I think it's just daft. So like I say, on one hand, I was going to tell you that actually now at 43, I'm looking to work less, absolutely work less. And on the same on the same thought, I could I told you, and I'll say it online as well, Jen and I spent the entire weekend working on Zoom, writing a strategy for the next 12 months of Female Fusion. So, that wasn't, but again, it's fitting things in. I didn't have 4 children at my feet begging for their dinner, or, do you know what I mean? I hadn't cancelled plans with friends, or actually, I lie. I cancelled a nail appointment on Friday. Friday's my day off, and I cancelled my nail appointment because we were still busy and we'd started at 8 anyway. So I think what I'm trying to say is it's total personal choice.
Yeah.
When Jen said, can we get this nailed on Friday? I could have said, no, it'll wait till Sunday, but it couldn't, wanted to, and it was a good thing to do. And that was complete choice. It wasn't interfering with anything else. By the same token, my kids are now off school, and I can't, I need to be finding, they're teenagers, they're not babies, but I need to be finding spots of time for quality time with them as well. And it's all about literally what works for you, but please do not get blindsided into any form of, everybody's working so hard, I must too, which means, putting everything to one side. Like yourself, you're never going to catch me. This is the worst day for me, the worst subject for me to be talking about, because like I said, hair hasn't been touched in literally months. I need all kinds of things doing. I've put about 1 stone in weight on since Christmas, all of these things. But, you don't need to be, you shouldn't be missing your hair appointment once every however many weeks, or, people, of course, don't have time. Not everybody's there every week. If it's a Friday morning ritual to go get your mani-pedi, I need loads of mums do that. Mums in Dubai, Friday morning, kind of early doors, have that couple of hours in the morning, sat at the local salon to get that bit of me time. And I think it's what me time means for you as well. So, for example, if I were to now be flying into Dubai this week, which I'm not, or like Jen was this morning, hosting an event, I wouldn't want my hair like this for obvious reasons. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be, my point being, I would feel a bit rubbish. Like, it would be really part of that self-care confidence routine to make sure I'd either got a decent blow dry, well, I'd obviously be there. It'd be a week's job, but you know what I mean? But that kind of thing. I've got no nails on at the minute because I cancelled my appointment on Friday, and that kind of makes me so it affects you in different ways as well. So it's not about being in the salon 24/7. It's not about spending tens of thousands. It's not about flying abroad for a butt lift or anything like that. It's what works for you. And I feel better. I would feel better if I lost a bit of weight. So I need to get on that from a health point of view.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
You know, so that's about me, not the size that I am. And I love a bath. I don't know about Jen's like, I hate baths. You're like just sat in dirty water. I'm like a freak because baths are the best thing ever, alongside tea in your Muppets mug. So I love a bath. So I can have a really busy, stressful week, and my only kind of bit of self-care could just be grabbing a bath before bed. But that's cool. I'm really geeky. I listen to a hell of a lot of podcasts, less so reading. Lockdown made me not want to read as much, but as in a physical book, but hell of a lot of audio books and podcasts, usually about women in business. And that kind of thing, and comfortable clothes, you know what I mean, it's I think it's everybody's kind of knowing that my kids are okay, and that doesn't mean they have to attach them 24/7, having an understanding that they're okay, do you know what I mean, and don't need, because I've got teenagers. James is next door, and he'll probably be sat on an Xbox all day, and that's cool because tomorrow we'll do something else. You know, they need the downtime as well, and just managing all the things in a way that just feels okay, and that's the best way that I can describe it. I just think my point is it's so individual. It's so super individual. And by the same token, I can say on Friday, no, I can't do that. Or on Saturday, well, I'm today I have to work today. You know, it's as simple as that. And you guys are okay doing X, Y, and Z, but not in any. And I've been saying no an awful lot since Christmas, and that feels brilliant. So I'm happy to work hard. I've always worked hard. I probably work more hard and probably work more for free than I have done paid over the past 15 years. So I take no guilt whatsoever in just kind of thinking, do you know what? I'm not going to work 7 days a week. If you work, and the other thing I can say about that is, if you're working 7 days a week and you're making money, like you're that busy, you have to, right? Brilliant. But you're a human being, and it's not sustainable and it's not healthy. So with the profits that you're making, business advice, you know what I mean? Really take half a day to sit down and look at who can help you and what to outsource. If you're working 7 days a week and actually not making any profit, then you've got a bigger problem, because it's perfectly possible. You can be turning over an obscene amount, and your profit, you know, you're looking at pricing then and margins and things like that. But you don't have to do it on your own. It's so freeing to hire other people to do it as well. It gives you time back, and you know, almost a confidence. You know, it's nobody needs to be working 7 days a week. And if your self-care is the salon, if it's blowing X, Y, and Z at the mall, if it's sat with a book, if it's sat with a cup of any of the things, you know, if it's climbing a mountain, if it is literally just taking a hot shower, like do it, girl. Yeah, you can't, you know, you're no use to anybody. You're no use to anybody ill. Exactly. Really important.
Yeah, and we were talking about, I mean, your background is marketing and digital marketing. So if I rewind 20 years, you know, social media was non-existent then, and it's everywhere now, isn't it? So, you know, I know a lot of businesses, that's really important. Social media, Instagram, Facebook, you know, websites. I noticed on Female Fusion, a lot of people ask about building websites as well, you know. So what's your opinion on that? How important, I mean, that's kind of your background.
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that, because I could talk about this stuff all day. But mainly what I'd like to say is my take on that is, so coming from, so I started like 23 years ago, actually. We used to, you know, we used to print out press releases and post them to journalists.
Exactly.
Literally. So anyway, so the good news is the old ways have never gone away. Marketing, PR, digital PR, call it what you will, visibility, I would say, it is all so in the same pot now and so intertwined, there's no getting away from it, which I know as business owners is scary if you're not a marketer, like I'm not a lawyer or an accountant, right? So I look at that stuff and go, you know, absolutely. It's talking to people. Exactly. You know, it's talking to people. So, you know, when you're being spammed online, this, that, and the other, would that same person run into a party and shout 50% off? Like, no, obviously. So why do it online? So the old ways, I would say not the new ways, because they never went away. But I think we got this shiny object syndrome, which means here's a new platform. You must do that, create more content, show up here, do this, do that. By the same token, if you opened a shop or a salon tomorrow and didn't put a sign on or dress your window, well, you wouldn't, would you? So why would you not? You would absolutely. A coaching client said to, a new mentee that I had the other day, we were talking, do I need a website? And I said, you should have even a cover page. And it wasn't that relevant. That might sound like a stupid question. She wasn't trying to open an e-commerce site. That'd be a ridiculous question. Of course you do. But it wasn't uber relevant. But I said, look, it's somewhere to send people. It's for your SEO, have a, even if it's a one pager. Type thing. So not everything is for everybody. So identify what works best for you. Now, going back to the beginning, if you've got a really strong mission statement, but market positioning, brand, mission, values, etc., you don't have to spend years creating these either. It's not about your logo, but you've got a really strong, what you're doing and where you want to be, and you can identify the ideal paying client. The P is important. And then you can kind of, and then you go, well, actually, Instagram's really good. Where I don't know, where a cool kind of younger staffed hair salon who specialise in colour work. Do you know what I mean? And that's a specific. Obviously, everybody's sees some amazing colour work happening in Dubai at the moment. I'm talking about the primary colours and the rest of it, not just covering up my greys. But then you're going for a certain, that's a very that's obviously a very TikTok worthy kind of branding, a particular target market, and you're gonna put some effort in there, and salons can utilize your staff. We've all seen, we know what it's like to work with people. You've all got some people who are better, who have different personalities to others, or little performers. You just walk around the mall to see the guys who work at Hamleys and the toy store, and the I can't think of the name of the electrical Sharaf DG with the karaoke. Do you know what I mean? That's, if I was social media manager for Sharaf DG, they'd be running my accounts in some way. You know what I mean? We'd have a weekly session, sing-along session with.
Yeah, that's great.
Tom on the karaoke, and that can apply to beauty salons and stuff like that as well. Showcase, typical before and after pictures, absolutely. Yeah. But if you've got staff who can showcase that and a bit of personality as well. So just do not be overwhelmed. Do not be overwhelmed. And technology is there to help you. If you can afford or do an online booking system, it's not about social media. Marketing is not just social media. Social media is a tactic. You've got your email list as well. How much are you communicating or via SMS with your existing customers? Can you get more? It sounds horrible, but can you get more money out of your existing customers? Can you bring them back in for something else? Can you upsell? And technology obviously can help you with the booking. You really need to look at your SEO because people need to find you. Keep your profiles up to date. If you are getting customers via social media platforms, then go all in on that particular platform. If you can genuinely say, just to have 10,000 followers, great, right? Do you want 100 extra customers? You know what I mean? Exactly. I've got 20,000 TikTok. Have you seen any increase in bookings, or and then asking people how they're finding out about you? So it's great to have that visibility, and everybody wants to go a bit viral, and everybody wants to be acknowledged in that way. But we have businesses to run as well, so try and balance it out. It's not all about social media tactics. It's your marketing, your technology as a whole, and it is difficult in the UAE because you're not going to go and get TV advertising. Really, you're not going to put a billboard up on Sheikh Zayed Road. You're not putting brochures through people's doors, etc. So the majority of your marketing is absolutely going to be online. Yes, work with influencers, but not the level where you think that paying somebody or giving somebody a free treatment is going to leave you with an extra 10,000 followers or 25 customers. Have a really realistic. Really realistic take on it, and find somewhere like Female Fusion to come and ask you questions as well. You said about the most successful people collaborate. We want within Female Fusion Network, obviously we've got within the network there's a few lawyers, there's a few florists, there's quite a few interior designers now. Talking about the kind of smaller group rather than the wider one where there's hundreds of each. We would love to see that come together within the network. So we've got people working in the beauty industry. We can facilitate events. I'm not trying to take your business or create something for you. We want to help you
together. That sounds great.
We can facilitate you guys as a group and have one team leader type thing. You know what I mean? So we can't, we're not standing there at every event everybody runs under the banner because, you've got legal, you've got HR, you've got all these things. But of course, you want to sit in a room, Lisa, with other women who are doing a similar job to you or at a similar level within your industry, just like I do. And and others as well. So as we grow, that's what we really, we really aim to do that as well. So absolutely find your network, create one yourself. It's not easy, by the way, but crack on. No, absolutely. There's no ego from me as to, this is just about us or Female Fusion, but you please don't do any of it alone, or don't feel that it's competitive or you're giving anything away. There's no secrets, really. There's no originality, really. Let's be honest. Otherwise, there'd only be one shoe brand in the world or one hairdressers, wouldn't there? It's not about that at all. It's a real mindset thing, I think, that people absolutely are stronger together. As cliche as that sounds, there's no two ways about it. Don't let anybody tell you that a sisterhood doesn't exist, because it bloody does. And women do business different to men. And we need a different way of doing things. And it's like, it's not about meeting once a month in a formal ballroom and pushing business cards around. It's not how the world works now. It's not how business works. And more than ever in the UAE, SMEs, what I know to be an SME, I think the government judges an SME as somebody, with like 3 million turnover, etc. Let's call it micro business, but these are people with, Mariella's probably a micro business, believe it or not, in the sense of the Dubai SME, like the kind of gradings and stuff, which is a bit silly. So we're working harder to kind of just amplify the voice of a micro business, and whether that's Sharon at home who's looking to get licensed to bake cakes, that's cool, or anything like that, or how can I become a mobile esthetician or makeup artist or nail specialist, etc., facialist, anything, through to people obviously running businesses with tons of staff and facilities, etc. Everybody, you need that support. You need that support. There's no question too silly. You need to feel that you can go and ask it somewhere. So find that network for you. And like I say, Female Fusion's there with that, find your own, create your own from an industry point of view. But you have to have that mindset of being able to reach out, be what we say coachable, as in, ready to listen to other people's advice. There's loads of resources out there, loads and loads. And don't be afraid to put your hand in your pocket as well for something like a monthly subscription to a network, because you get such value out of it. And as well as all the UN program is going to be completely free of charge. So there's tons of stuff out there, whatever your industry, and collaborate with your peers as well, because everybody's in the same boat.
Definitely. Oh, it sounds good. Sounds great. One more thing I wanted to ask you. I know we've been talking for nearly an hour now. So obviously at Furless Beauty Institute, we're hoping to inspire the next generation of beauty therapists, but also, business owners as well. So wanting them to, go on to open their own beauty salons. So is there any advice that you would give them on if they were wanting to embark on that journey, opening a business here in the UAE?
Licensing, get the best advice possible from a couple of people, because people will give you different advice, and these are professional licensing people will give you different advice. In fact, even speak to a lawyer if you feel like everybody, because they are, everybody's kind of getting business out of you. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because I hate people who say can't trust anyone. That's nonsense. But some of, say, for example, some of the free zone setup consultants, with all respect, they were selling houses last week, and they might be selling, windows, and, they're salespeople. They're not living and breathing it. However, there's some brilliant female-owned as well, business setup companies and individuals. So do a bit of research and speak to a different couple of people, because you might get wildly varying costs. It really costs. Your location can be everything. So think about that first. If you're looking at, I want to be high-end, I want to charge high-end, I've got this particular brand, then possibly, a small outlet in a certain part of town isn't going to necessarily be right for you, even if it's cheap. Or, think about, we can start off from there. So maybe there'll probably be a little bit of molding to go around it. Open-minded, you're going to need some money. Keep going, get the best advice you can, ask around, barter for everything, negotiate everything, stand in the power of your brand, your marketing, your pricing, and your offering. And service will absolutely be everything, but go for it. But just know that at the start, when it comes to licensing, premises, fit out, approvals, because this is all regulated, right? It's DHA regulated stuff. It's not a joke. Health and safety, etc. You are on a journey, my friend, and that doesn't mean that there's no. Well, do it or don't, right? Start it, you can crack on, or sit at home wishing you had a salon. So, but just I think an understanding of this is going to be, this is going to be hell on earth for these approvals, the cost. You're going to be crying into your cup of tea, but it's worth it. The journey is worth it to be your own boss, to know that you've created something, you know, and things will change and people will change and the markets will change and all of that will happen. But with your qualifications, and a clear head on what it is that you want to achieve from starting up. Are you going to have staff straight away? Is it just going to be you? Having a really clear plan before you buy your license as well, because don't forget the other thing about licensing, and yes, you'll need it if you're having premises, but you're not working illegally if you're not taking any money. I will just say that, you know, you are, if you start providing services or even on Friends, whatever, and you're taking money, you are working illegally. You know, you're not a licensed business, and it's illegal to take that money without a license. But until you're doing that, you're not doing anything wrong. So all this pre-planning you can do that. So you're not buying an expensive license, let's say, and then spending 6 months setting up, if you know what I mean. I'm taking premises out of it for the time being because you'd need that license to get all your approvals. So taking that, but you know, I don't know, your place in the market, your branding, your research, that kind of thing, and just getting everything ready in your head and the financials and projections and stuff like that. You can do all of that before you've taken a penny, rather than a really expensive license and then spending 6 months doing that. So then when you've got, then you can start to trade immediately. You're doing nothing wrong. You're doing nothing wrong by setting yourself up in that way, as long as you're not, you know, taking any money for your services. So yeah, come and the other bit of advice, reach out. I think to anybody considering, it is scary, it is lonely, it is expensive, but it is also could be the absolute best thing you could do. And the best thing in that situation, we find, again, just referencing Female Fusion again, is the people in that situation who do feel that they've got other people who have got their back as well. So whether it's other industry stalwarts, you know, whether it's your personal friends, or people who get it, because, you know, people who get it because they're spending the same and going through the same headaches. You know, problem shared is definitely hard. So you don't have to do it alone. But be prepared. Big girl pants on. Sorry, it's the industry. I know the licensing is expensive for you guys. The premises and fit out is expensive for you guys. So I am sorry. And then don't go on Female Fusion for somebody to tell you that you can get a DED trader for 1,000 dirhams. I bet somebody would tell you that. And again, listen to the experts. Pick your experts wisely and listen to them. And drown anybody else out. But yeah, and get your training from Furless.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Kelly. It has been a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm going to take on your advice. I think you're great, and Female Fusion Network as well is fantastic. Like you were saying before, it's so nice to have a community, so you don't feel alone, and there's so many women in that group from different business backgrounds, you know, all different all different industries. Yes, that's it. So yeah, I think it's great what you're doing.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm excited. I want to see lots of people training with the Institute.
Yes, and of course, when you come back to Dubai, you will definitely be invited. You can come and be a model for our students.
Well, I definitely need help. I do not know about modelling, but yes, ideal paying client right here, I have to say.
That's great. Thank you so much, Kelly. And I hope to meet you in person soon when you're back.
Absolutely.
Okay, you take care.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.